Hello, and welcome to another video. Since the last video, I've been on another photo shoot with a model. The model was called Faye. She's from Huddersfield. Faye actually suggested a really great location in Huddersfield. There's a park there that's got castle walls and some really interesting rock formations, and I thought that looked pretty great. So I agreed to shoot there and took 2 rolls of Portrait 400 and the Mamiya RB67, and we went and shot some film, and here's the results. I'm quite pleased with the images overall. Faye was really great to work with. She brought a lot of good ideas and personality to the shoot, and I tried to, again, show her personality through the way I framed the images and positioned her with the light, and always tried to have her backlit. We did try some experimental images with the light sort of shining towards her through a gate, although I don't particularly think that turned out quite as well as I would have wanted, but I think it's great to try new things and see how they turn out. What I wanted specifically to talk about in this video though is the difference in feeling between shooting film and digital. Not necessarily that one's better than the other, but that there's definitely a different approach and feeling, and the more that I've been shooting with the film camera, with the Mamiya, and working with film as a process, the more aware of that difference I've been while working. I took my digital camera to the photo shoot with Faye, and we started by shooting through 2 rolls of Kodak Portrait, and then decided to shoot some digital just because we could. But I definitely noticed once I started working with the digital camera, the entire different approach to how I was shooting with it. When I was shooting with the Mamiya, I was a lot more deliberate, purposeful, and thoughtful about each and individual frame, simply because that's just how you have to be, because you've only got a certain amount of film. You don't want to waste any film. The camera is big, bulky, and it's slow to operate, but that also forces you to focus on what you're doing and really concentrate. And the main difference that I noticed was, as soon as I picked up the digital camera and started shooting with it, I was a lot more trigger happy. But I think overall the keeper rate from those images was a lot lower, simply because there was a lot more images and I was trying all sorts of different things. And for me, I don't know how other people feel about this, but I found that it was a lot less productive overall, just because it was just a lot more random, and I didn't really feel like I had as much invested in each and every shutter press compared to how I did with the Mamiya. So that's just something that I've noticed, and I thought it was worth talking about, because it's part of the process of shooting with film that you learn as you go along. In any case, I'm very pleased with the images as they came out. There's a couple in there that I think are definitely portfolio quality that I'll continue to show in my portfolio in the future, particularly the close-in shot with the trees in the background here. I think that's probably my favourite shot. Again, just because of the way the light worked, the way I was able to expose the image for the shadows and really overblow the highlights, and it just, the portrait just kind of holds the colour. It doesn't really blow out too much, and I think that just creates like a nice bright look, and that's something I'm very interested in, and the main thing that I'm interested in as far as working with film. I just like that overexposed colour negative look. The other aspect to working with film that I've picked up on as far as the work that comes out of it and the process of working with images after you've shot them, is I don't spend a whole lot of time editing the images. I do tweak them a little bit, but generally the way they come out after they're developed and scanned is to my taste. These images, I just warmed up the skin tones a little bit because there was a bit of a green cast, but I think that was because of all the green light bouncing around inside the forest there. There was just a general green feeling to it, and it was a little bit too green, and it turned the skin tones a little bit sickly, and you never want that in an image. But as far as adjusting the exposure, like I tend to do with digital images, I tend to raise the shadows quite a bit and drop the highlights, just simply because you can in Lightroom. I've tended to find that working with film and working with color negative and being able to really push the image, push the exposure in camera without worrying about blowing the highlights, it means that I'm doing the editing in camera as opposed to spending a long time on each frame afterwards editing it to get the exposure to look how I imagined it. I think it comes down to knowing the look that you want, picking the film that best suits that look, and then really taking advantage of the way that it handles light. And again, it bears repeating, but Kodak Portrait Colors are just very pleasing. As far as what's coming up in the future, I've got a trip abroad planned this month. I'm travelling to the island of Lanzarote, which I photographed last year around this time, although I did shoot digitally. This time I've decided, because I'm really starting to appreciate the process and the thoughtfulness that goes into shooting with film and the rewarding aspect of seeing the film developed afterwards, I am going to shoot the trip on film. I'm not going to take my digital camera, and I'm just going to trust fully to the process of shooting film. And I'm also going to document the trip as I did last year, and I'll upload those videos to this channel. I've also got some more shoots with models coming up, but I think as far as this channel goes and what I want to have as a focus on this channel is to really talk about the different aspects to photography in general, not just film photography, because I will continue to shoot digital work. I will continue to document all of my shoots and share the work on the channel. I think that's great. That's a great thing to do, and YouTube's a great platform for talking about photography, sharing experiences and sharing knowledge with people. I also want to thank everyone who has subscribed since the last video upload. I didn't expect to get quite as good a response as I did from that first video, but it was very encouraging to see people are very interested in this kind of thing. And so thanks to everyone who subscribed. I will continue to upload as frequently as I can, although I am quite busy at the moment and I don't have a whole lot of time to spend recording these videos, but it's nice that people have responded well, and that's encouraging, and that'll encourage me to keep going. I'll put a link in the description of this video to Faye's Instagram. She's a great model, you should definitely check out her work. She's worked with some really good photographers. There'll also be a link to my Instagram down there, so check that out if you're interested in seeing more of my images. And thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.